And we're live. This is going to be fun. This is a hotel connection, hotel internet, and I see that I got my audio on my my audio going out to the computer a little bit too high. So give me a second here. I'm gonna cut it down a little bit so I'm not killing people. Second here, test. Not too bad for a first time in a hotel room, if I do say so myself. So the camera might suck a little bit, and I think that's gonna have to be somewhat understandable. I guess I'm gonna have to cut the audio here. Give me a sec. See, test. I think that might work a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, so I'm streaming live from Cherry Hill, New Jersey right now. I am here for business. The company I work for has asked me to come to the East Coast and set up a new system. So I'm here with myself, of course, and then a coworker that is also here on this journey with me. Yeah, so a long plane trip today. I've been pretty much going since 3 a.m. this morning, so if I look a little bit out of it, is more than likely because I am a little bit out of it. Just, you know, travel, fun stuff, 5 hours on a plane, and good stuff like that. So I don't have a lot to show tonight. I do have a couple promises that I'm going to make. One of the things I'm going to do is while I'm here at night, after hours, after like 5 o'clock, I'm going to be working on scripts and material for videos I plan on coming out very soon. I got most of my work process worked out, as in I know how I want to put the videos together now. I don't know how to use this chair. Give me a sec. I know pretty much how I want my videos to progress now, and I know how I want to put them together, and that's kind of half the battle, I guess you could say. So I got most, if not all, the information together for the rest of objective 1.5, and then I'm going to move on to the other objectives. I'm hoping to have quite a few objectives ready to go by the time I get home this next weekend. So I will be getting back to the studio. I plan on, well, I get back to the studio and then I got to do some things with the wife and kids. You know, I'm going to be gone a week, so I got to make it up to them there. And then the rest of that weekend, I plan on just churning out videos. Hopefully by next Sunday's live stream, I plan to have at least, if everything goes the way I plan to have at least 4 to 5 videos ready to be produced, and then after that, just start releasing videos at a hefty clip. So that's the plan, and I'm moving progressively towards it. I've been, the last couple of weeks, last 2 or 3 weeks, I've been working out all the kinks, and things are starting to work the way I want them to work. So I'm pretty happy with everything, and these live streams have been very helpful. As you can tell, I'm a little bit less nervous about being in the camera as I was when I first started. If you go back to my first live stream, I was basically tripping all over myself. So I feel that these live streams have kind of done their purpose. I mean, I may not have a bunch of viewers right now, and I realize that as starting a new channel, I realize that right off the bat, I'm not going to have a bunch of new users, and that's okay. I'm willing to work through it. I've had this channel going for about 2 years now, and I've really, for the most part, haven't neglected it. So I can't be too upset that, I only have, 184 followers at present. But, in order for it to work out, I got to do the work, and I got to be persistent. And being persistent and having it be a place where people can trust to come and actually learn something, or hopefully in the future have guests and stuff like that, as being a good source for people to come and check out the channel. So I do realize the work I have ahead of me. One of the nice things about this trip that I've made to New Jersey is I'm finding out what it takes to put a live stream together from a hotel room, and what equipment I need to do things on the road. And I like it. It's I think I've prepared very well. I think the intro to this video is pretty good because it was 100% manual. I don't have my Elgato Stream Deck here, so everything I did tonight was manually done through OBS. And if I switch to the next scene, you'll see some more fun stuff that I got going on here to hopefully get this nice and shiny new and all that good stuff. So if everything goes as planned, you should see a nameplate here in a second, and boom. So we're doing good. I got this thing put together. I'm liking it. So this may be a short stream. Since the hotel internet sucks so bad, I am literally streaming right now through my LTE connection through AT&T. I only have so many gigabytes of that, and if my wife is watching, she's probably freaking out right now because I'm always on the kids on how much internet they use. So I'm more likely going to have to keep this short. I only have one person watching right now, so it is what it is. But I thought I'd talk about some of the successes. I got a lot of material together for the videos coming out shortly. I've, as I said earlier, got a lot of the kinks worked out, and so I'm at the point now where I'm very happy with the stuff I have, the type of what I expect quality that I can, basically put out there. So I'm ready to move forward on that. The other thing is I thought I'd share with you guys, whether you're watching live or you're watching after the fact, that I passed. Before I go into that, the one other thing I'm going to change, and it hasn't changed yet, but I'm going to change it. I made a mistake last week. I started the live stream actually an hour early than I had planned, and that was me just being a harebrained. I didn't really. I looked at the time, but I misjudged the time, and so I actually instead of starting the stream at 9:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I ended up starting it at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So the change I'm going to make there, and I guess it takes you going somewhere and doing something to realize that you got to make a change or you got to do something, because you don't realize it for yourself until you go somewhere and kind of start figuring it out. But it is currently 12 o'clock or 12:11 a.m. on the East Coast. And I never took that into consideration before when doing these live streams. And obviously I can't expect all of my viewers or people that want to get A+ or Net Plus or anything like that or certify, I can't expect them to go to my schedule of Pacific Standard Time. I have to basically, especially if I'm going to do live streams and answer questions and stuff like that, I'm going to have to switch the time. So I think starting, maybe not this Wednesday, but maybe this next Sunday, I'm going to probably start the live stream at not 8 o'clock, but at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which East Coast time would be 10 o'clock. I think that's kind of a happy medium. I realize it's still kind of late, but it's not 12 o'clock. And if the live streams go the way that they've been going, I'll do them for about an hour, and that should give people enough time to ask questions. I mean, at least at this point, I don't have a bunch of viewers. I just had someone else just join, so I got 2 viewers right now, which is awesome. So, you know, again, I open up this live stream so people can ask questions and basically get information out there. I don't want to just be a one-sided conversation. I actually want people to give their 2 cents and us to have open discussion and basically help people out. Just like if you were in a classroom, you would get the same kind of experience. So again, starting probably next Saturday, or not next Saturday, starting probably next Sunday, I'm going to start doing these live streams. Again, I'll be from my studio, and I'll be starting the live stream at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and that will be 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. This Wednesday, I will also do another live stream, and this Wednesday I will do the live stream at the regular time. So it'll be 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and unfortunately 12 o'clock Eastern Time, which I feel for anyone on this coast, because I will still be here, and I will be doing it at 12 o'clock like I am right now. So, you know, it is what it is. So the other thing I wanted to cover as well is the last 2 weeks I've retaken my A+ certification. My original certification that I took for the A+, CompTIA A+ certification was back in 1999. I took my first exam. I think it was back then either the 400 or the 500 series of the exam. And when I took it back then, that exam was a lifetime exam. So back in 1999, when I took my CompTIA A+ certification, it was a lifetime certification, meaning you take it once and you never have to take it again. Unfortunately, not too long after that, I talked in my last live stream about how certifications there for a while were devalued and didn't hold as much value as they did when they first came out. So one of the things that these certification companies did, like Microsoft and CompTIA and Cisco and stuff like that, is they now have a time period on them where once you get certified, you have to either get continuing education credits within 3 years to renew it, or and I think like for Cisco, you have to take a recertification exam that's not with doing the whole certification over again. So unfortunately for me, as I discussed in my last live stream, is I am actually going to Western Governors University right now, which is an online school, and I'm going through that because I took a new job path or a career path, and I'm going along the lines of IT security. So IT security and cyber was called as a cybersecurity and information assurance. So I'm going along that path, and so unfortunately, going to WGU, I have to basically go through my certifications over again, because a lot of the certifications I had were lifetime certifications, and therefore they want me to kind of renew them, which is no big deal, because again, I have like 20 years of experience in this field. I should be able to pass those exams. I've also taught the classes multiple times and stuff like that. So that being said, on September 14th, I took the 220-901 exam and passed it. And this past Friday, on September 21st, I took the 220-902 exam. And I thought I'd share some of that information with you guys. And that's, you know, the exam is not much harder than it used to be from what I remember it. One thing you do need to know about the exam, I will not share any actual questions or answers with you, because that's against policy, and I'm a stickler for that. Yes, I was a Boy Scout for many years, and so therefore I guess I'm still a Boy Scout in that area. But both exams, the 220-901 and the 220-902, starts off right away, or it did for me right away, with simulation questions. So the initial questions, at least the first set of questions that you get asked, I've heard it ranges for some people. Some people it's 4 questions, some people it's 5, sometimes it's a little bit more. But all the simulation questions are asked in the first part of the exam, which makes it okay for timing, because you can get through the simulation and then start doing your multiple choice questions right after that. There was a lot of questions on wireless and wireless security. You know, like when to use WPA2, you know, how to best secure wireless communication, how to best secure wired communication. There was a lot of questions on basic ports. For example, what your incoming and outgoing ports are. For me, there was one question between the 220-901 and the 220-902, 2 simulation questions that for me on both tests were the exact same question. Like everything was exactly the same. So it was like a carbon copy from one exam to the other. That may not be true for you when you take the exam, but that was very true for me. And the other thing I had to do was I had to change my mindset, because I'm stuck in the mindset of basically the current mindset of today, which is that, you know, new technologies. I mean, the company I work for, as I said in the previous live stream, they're not like on the bleeding edge of technology, but they're certainly in the forefront of it. Anything that's older than 2008 R2 is dead. We don't touch it anymore. Or anything new that we spin up can't be older than 2012 R2. And it's preferred that it's newer. So once Microsoft drops support for it, what they call mainstream support, once Microsoft drops mainstream support for a certain operating system or anything like that nowadays, the company I work for, basically says we're not using it anymore. So anything you spin up new has to be new. And that's a good way to do it because security patches and stuff like that, and obviously new technology, more secure and the like. So that's a good thing to do. So yeah, the problem is when you're in that mindset, such as I am. I mean, I'm using systems that are, my iPad has the latest and greatest iOS on it. My laptop has the latest and greatest version of Windows on it, Windows 10 and whatever current release it is. My system at home, same thing. Most of the systems I work on are using newer technology. So that becomes a problem when you take the A+ exam, because the current exam, which is being administered right now, is the 220-901 and the 220-902. And those exams are at this point 3.5, almost 4 years old. And so they have older questions in them. Like there's absolutely, well, in my test at least, there was absolutely no questions of Windows 10 in it or anything newer than like Windows 8. So a lot of the questions I was asked were Windows 8 or older. So the Windows 7, Windows 8. I think there may have been one or two that were Windows 8.1 and some Linux questions. The problem with Windows 8.1 is it was such a crappy operating system by Microsoft that I only briefly really worked with it. Most of my customers either stayed with Windows 7 or jumped like over Windows 8 and 8.1. So they went from like Windows 7 to Windows 10, especially when Microsoft offered Windows 10 at no cost. You know, if you had Windows 8 or Windows 7 or 8 or 8.1, you could upgrade to Windows 10 for nothing. They did that for about a year. And I know that I upgraded my system at that time. I know a lot of my customers, I had them upgrade at that time. So for me, yeah, I did some work with 8 and 8.1, but for me it was much more limited than the work I've done with Windows 7 and Windows 10. Because in the corporate environment, like the company I work for the most part, all of our operating systems were either Windows 7 or they went right to Windows 10. They didn't even bother with Windows 8. And for most companies I know that's what it was. But the problem is when you take the A+ exam, it asks you questions on Windows 8. And there's a lot of things in Windows 8 that don't exist anymore. For example, the gadgets bar, or the is it the gadgets or the little snippet app bar that if you slide your mouse to the left, okay, and we're back. I guess apparently if I don't touch my iPad for a little bit, it decides it's gonna go. Okay, apparently my iPad. Oh, are we live now? We're live again. And I think we're live. Are we live? Watching. I think we're live. I still see myself freezing. I'm actually trying to do this live stream right now from my iPad, and I'm doing it through Wi-Fi from my laptop to my iPad. So this is just crappy. I'm gonna have to figure out a different way of doing this live stream. But it looks like we got a good connection for now. So what I'm going to basically say is, going back to what I was discussing before, I noticed I got cut off all of a sudden, was basically the quiz or the exam does ask you a bunch of questions about Windows 8 and stuff like that. So you gotta get into the mindset of then. So if you're just getting into IT and you are studying for the exam, it would be a good idea to get an installation CD and set up like a virtual machine. If you don't know how to do that, I should probably make a video on how to do that, but you need to set up a virtual machine and actually work with Windows 8 and 8.1 and Windows 7 if you plan on taking the exam like in this time period. Otherwise, I would highly recommend, I would personally highly recommend that that if you haven't taken the A+ exam and you're just starting to study for it and stuff like that, I would almost wait to take the exam, especially if you're new to IT. I would wait to take the exam in the first quarter of 2019, because that's when they're supposed to release the new version of the test, which will be I believe it's 220.10.01 and 220.10.02. I may be a little bit off. If I am, I'll publish it. But it would be my recommendation that if you're not already studying for the A+, if you don't already know that you need to be working with Windows 8 and Windows 7 for this exam, I would personally hold off until the new exam gets released. And you may be thinking that's a bad plan. I want my A+ now. The chances are with the new exam, your certification is going to hold more relevance for longer than if you were to take the exam now. So like I took the exam now, and that's fine for me because I've already had it and I've taught it multiple times. But I will tell you this: when in 2019, when they do publish the objectives for that exam, I will be doing a video series on A+, and after I create that video series on the A+ certification exam, I will also be taking the A+ 220, 10.01 or 10.02, whatever that ends up being, because I just plan on keeping my certifications up and current from this point forward. Now I can totally skip that by just doing my continued education stuff, but I'm just kind of at the point that if anything, it makes me a better instructor and helping people out and stuff like that. So yeah. So in future streams, again, we're working on the Net Plus, the CompTIA Network Plus in 10.007. But always feel free to ask questions about the 220.901 or the 220.902. I will tell you this: I will never give you answers to actual questions from the exam, but I am more than happy to help out as much as I can with any questions that you may have and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm going to cut this short. I have a crappy internet connection. I'm using data like crazy on my iPad, and I got a cap on that. So I'm going to cut this one short. I only have one follower right now. If you watch this stream or you watch this video after the live stream, thank you. Just as a reminder, this Wednesday I will be doing a live stream at my normal Batman time. That'd be 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But starting next Sunday, which I believe is the 30th, it's either the 30th, yeah, it's either the 30th or the 1st. It may be the 1st. Let me double check that. Yeah, it's the 30th. Okay, so Sunday the 30th, I will be switching the live stream time to 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and which ends up being 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And hopefully that helps out some more people, because I do have a lot of friends that know that I do this and are wanting to watch it, but I'm too late and I never took that into consideration. So if you made it this far, thank you again so much for watching my video. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, thumbs down. Hopefully I get the thumbs up, because again, I'm doing this just to help people out. If you're at all interested in helping support what I'm doing, please check my Patreon. It is listed in the description of this video, and we'll go from there. So look for more videos coming from me shortly. I'm going to use this time that I'm here with working with my company, well, my company, but my employer. You know, I'm going to use my off time for doing scripts and stuff like that. And I got no one to bother me. I got an empty hotel room, so it works out. Again, thank you, and I wish you guys all an awesome evening, and see you next time. Oh, exit time. Yay. Well, see if you guys get to see me try to do this crap manually.